Want to know how to handle errors in Flutter? Whether your application is big or small, handling error the right way is very important. When running an application after modifying the code, this red screen might appear, or sometimes a big error appears in the terminal and it could be overwhelming. We will look at two main ways: try catch and result. Let's get started. The first step is to go to the pubspec.yaml file to make sure the HTTP package is there. Then we create a folder and call it API. Inside the API folder, we create a file called location_api.dart. Inside, we have a function that calls an API. Now we go to Postman, where we add the IP to the endpoint to check the response. The response status is success. Then we give a wrong IP. As we can see, the status is failed. Next, we create a model for this response. Then we go to the home page, create an instance of API service and location model, and create a function to fetch the location. Further down, we add a button to show the data. After that, we click the button and get the data successfully. Here, we add a wrong IP, we get an error, and the loading page gets stuck. Now we add try catch to our code. We hot restart and try again. We catch an exception invalid response. Now we check the result type. Result type returns success and failure. This is used in Swift by enum and in Kotlin by sealed classes. It's used in Dart just like it's used in Kotlin by sealed classes. It's added in Dart 3 and above. A sealed class cannot be extended outside its file. Before Dart 3.0, the freeze package is used to create sealed classes. Now we create a sealed class called result. Please note the const constructor is mandatory. Inside the result class, we create two classes. Success extends result and returns a value. On the other hand, failure extends result but returns an exception. Now we implement result inside the getLocation function and edit the signature. I make it return success to fetch the value and failure to catch any exceptions. In the fetchLocation function, we check whether the result is success or failure. After a hot restart, we can see that the values are fetched without any issues. Now I add some letters to the IP and try again. Here we see that the invalid response exception is caught, which is good, and the process completes successfully. Next, we change the base URL and try again. This time we get a different type of error. Finally, I make a request without any error handling, and as expected, we get a large and incomprehensible error. Now here for the first code, I use a simple try catch block. You await each asynchronous function, and if an error occurs at any point, it is automatically caught and handled in a single place. This makes the code cleaner and more readable as error handling is centralized and the flow of the logic remains straightforward. On the other hand, the second code uses the result type to handle potential errors by checking the result after each asynchronous call. It adds extra layers of logic where you need to manually verify if the operation was successful and only then proceed. This approach can become repetitive and harder to follow as it grows. Some important points to consider when using error handling in Flutter. It is not good to use try and catch everywhere. It should be used only in strategic places like the repository layer for handling network errors or critical operations, like tasks that might crash the app. Another important point when using try is to not forget to use the catch block, because an error might occur in the IDE. You can use the on keyword to catch a specific exception instead of using catch. For future functions inside try and catch, do not forget to use await as well, as an error might occur in the IDE. Remember, error handling is your safety net in Flutter, ensuring your apps run smoothly even when things go wrong. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more coding tips and tricks. Until next time, keep coding.